Hey guys, movie fan here. Well, as you already know, I made it very clear that I have no intention of watching Legend of the White Dragon, not after what Aaron Snoke did. Yes, I know I'm saying his last name wrong, but you know what? I don't care. Because, like I said before, he's told horrible lies claiming that Jason David Frank and Amy Jo Johnson had a falling out, which we know is not true at all. He talked like he was his only friend in the world, which, again, we know is not true. But I want to make something a little more clear. Recently, I had a comment saying that I'm not a true fan because, you know, I refuse to watch it when it comes out. That is, assuming it does come out. Well, obviously, someone wasn't listening because I thought it was clear. But, I'm going to say it anyway because new things have developed recently, which I think needs an update. So, I'm going to talk about it again. Now, like I said before, his lies that he's been telling, that was one reason why I don't want anything to do with this. But there was a lot more to it than that. Mostly due to the fact that he has been trying to milk Jason's death for all it's worth. And that is, let's see, how do I put this? Maybe John Taffer can say it best.
Morally wrong.
Yeah, that's right. It's morally wrong. Look, folks, when the star dies unexpectedly, it's natural to want to do a little publicity on that fact because, the fans need to know, just to let them know it's happened. And it's one thing to say that they're dedicating it to him because, this was his last movie and all and his work. And that's fine because that's a given. But that's a one-time thing. And this jerk has been trying to milk that for all it was worth. He kept constantly reminding us that Jason and Frank died and this was his last thing. And it's ridiculous. He kept trying to use that as a cheap publicity stunt. And once again, that is
morally wrong.
Exactly. And furthermore, his lies have actually gotten a little more deeper than we first thought. When Jason died, they said they were going to hold back on the release because, for the sake of his memory, they thought they would try to do it like maybe later on his birthday, but then all of a sudden they didn't follow through on that. And we didn't really get a straight answer. However, quite recently on Twitter, they came out and said, on the 25th and 26th, we are going into the color correction studio and sound mixing studio to lock Legend of the White Dragon to take out for distribution. Funny, that's not exactly the impression that we had earlier, because when it all happened, they said it was finished. So, once again, more lies. And he was using Jason's death as an excuse to not release it when they weren't finished. Wow. Just when you think his lies couldn't get worse. You know what? I'll say it again. That is
morally wrong.
And that's the truth. I mean, this jerk is milking Jason's death for all it's worth, and that is not right at all. Like I said before, when something like this happens, you do that one time. You let the world know that it happened, and of course they intend to follow through on it, and that this is going to be dedicated to him. But you don't keep using that as a publicity stunt, because that's
morally wrong.
So now I have a brand new reason to not want to see this, assuming it ever comes out. And considering all the lies he's been telling, and trying to milk Jason's death for all it was worth, I got a feeling he's going to lose a lot of people in this one. In fact, he probably has by now. Because that's not right. That's not right at all. So, once again, I have no intention of seeing it. Because I'm not going to pay money to finance his lies. Because that is no way to treat Jason David Frank. That is
morally wrong.
And that's all there is to it. This is Movie Fan, signing off.